This holiday, Verizon is helping you bundle up incredible gifts and savings. You'll get the latest phone with a new line on My Plan and a brand new smartwatch and tablet. No trade-in needed, even on our lowest price plan. That's 2 gifts for your family and 1 for you. Or 2 for you and 1 for someone else. Or 3 gifts for you and only you. Either way, you save big on 3 amazing gifts at Verizon. All on the best 5G network. Visit Verizon today. Rankings based on Root Metric Root Score report dated 1/2025. Your results may vary. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Additional terms apply.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. Mm-hmm. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
You know how everything's a subscription now? Music, movies, even socks. I swear if I...
To continue this ad, please upgrade to Premium Plus Platinum.
What? No. Anyway, Blue Apron...
This is a pay-per-listen ad. Please confirm your billing.
Oh, that's annoying. At least with the new Blue Apron, there's no subscription needed. Get delicious meals delivered without the weekly plan.
Wait, no subscription?
Keep the flavor. Ditch the subscription. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
You know what's wild? Most people are still overpaying for car insurance just because it's a pain to switch. That's why there's Jerry. Jerry's the only app that compares rates from over 50 insurers in minutes and helps you switch fast with no spam calls or hidden fees. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Before you renew your car insurance policy, do yourself a favor. Download the Jerry app or head to jerry.ai/ACAST.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here. Wishing you a very happy half-off holiday because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. Like, Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Hello, I'm Sarah and welcome to the Whispering Woods After Dark. I'm going to talk about a very closely related folklore creature, and it's related to the first episode that we've done this week, the Colombian witches. And it's all about the Duende. And I think, and I hope, and I pray that I'm getting a bit better with my pronunciations. I'm still going to get them wrong sometimes because that's just part of who I am. I do it with just regular words as well. They just come out wrong, completely wrong sometimes. And I'd be there for hours and hours if I picked up all of my mispronunciations. So just please forgive me in advance. That's just part of me and who I am. Right. Are you ready for the story? A lone farmer walks a narrow path at dusk, the jungle closing in around him. The only light comes from a crescent moon filtering through the ceiba trees. In the distance, there's a lilting two-tone tune that makes his blood run cold. He quickens his pace. Every crunch of dried leaves under his boots is matched by a lighter patter somewhere behind. The farmer's heart pounds. He's not alone. Suddenly the whistling stops. In the quiet, he hears a high-pitched giggle from the undergrowth. He spins around. There at the edge of the trail stands a tiny silhouette, no taller than a small child. A battered wide-brimmed hat sits atop its head, and in the moonlight, the farmer can just make out an eerie grin full of pointed teeth. The creature's eyes glint like a cat's, and its feet, one of them, is facing the wrong way. It steps forward without a sound. The farmer stumbles back, remembering the warnings from his abuela. Si lo ves, esconde los pulgares. If you see him, hide your thumbs. His hands tremble as he tucks both thumbs into his fists. For a moment, man and creature stand locked in silent stare. Then the small figure hisses in frustration, holding up its hands, missing both thumbs, and lets out a shrill whistle. The farmer's blood turns to ice. Before he can even breathe, the little duende lunges from the shadows. The man's scream chokes in his throat. The word duende has roots born from the Spanish phrase dueño de casa, master of the house. In the old Iberian tales, a duende was a household trickster spirit, a little goblin that dwelled in your attic or under your floorboards, causing mischief when you weren't looking. A pint-sized guardian or pest, depending on its mood, who might sweep your floors one night and hide your slippers the next. Spanish colonists carried these stories across the ocean, and in the New World, the duende transformed, blending with indigenous beliefs and the mysteries of the untamed forest. The duende became something both familiar and far more frightening. In Latin American folklore today, duendes wear many faces, some almost playful, others truly sinister. They are often described as small humanoid creatures, perhaps as short as your knee or as tall as a young child, with wrinkled, weathered faces, and often sporting a pointed hat or a straw sombrero. Their clothes might be made of animal hides or woven from forest leaves, and while some say these goblins have tiny feet like a toddler's, others insist one foot faces backward, leaving confusing footprints to thwart anyone who dares to follow. Quick and silent, they slip in and out of sight in a blink. Duendes are tricksters at heart. Across Central and South America, parents steal quiet, unruly children with warnings that a duende might be lurking. In Mexico and the American Southwest, stories tell of duendes living in the walls of old houses, especially in children's bedrooms. At night, they creep about through cracks or knotholes. Sometimes their mischief is mild, hiding toys, giggling from dark corners. But some tales take a darker turn. One particularly chilling fake belief says a duende will try to clip the toenails of children who don't groom themselves. Only, being a clumsy little creature, it might snip off an entire toe by mistake. Imagine a child waking to a searing pain and a cackling laugh fading within the walls. A horrifying incentive to keep one's nails short. In other places, duendes are guardians of nature, watching over forests, rivers, and wild animals. The Yucatec Maya speak of the Alex and Nuextat, forest spirits akin to duendes who protect the land and punish those who disrespect it. Yet even these good duendes are fierce. Elysian folklore gives us the tater duende, a small wrinkled forest guardian with no thumbs. If you meet him in the jungle, you must hide your own thumbs to show respect. Fail to do so, and he might twist yours clean off your hand. Many a camper has heard an eerie whistle in the Belizean bush and recalled that warning just in time. And nearly everywhere, duendes have a fondness for children, sometimes helping those lost in the woods, but other times luring kids away with promises of sweets or the sound of music. In the countryside, people say that duendes play in the twilight, waiting for a wandering boy or girl to stray too far from home. The unlucky child who follows a laughing little playmate into the trees might vanish for hours or days. If they're found at all, they'll be filthy, scratched, feverish, and babbling about the little people that entice them away. So settle in, dim the lights, and listen closely. The following are first-hand accounts and legends of duende encounters, from quiet villages to dense jungles. Something is out there. Something old, something mischievous, something that laughs in the dark. Our first story takes us not to a deep forest or distant village, but to an ordinary family home, where a little mischief maker paid an unwelcome visit one quiet afternoon. A little shadow under the table. I was around 6 years old when I met our duende. Of course, at the time I had no idea what that thing was, only that it wasn't supposed to be in our house. It happened on a sunny afternoon in my small town in El Salvador. I remember the golden light of the late day was pouring through our living room window. My mother was napping in her bedroom, and I was left alone playing with my dolls on the cool tile floor. Our cat Mimi usually wouldn't lounge under the coffee table at that hour, swatting lazily at dust motes. On this day, I saw a shape crouched under that wooden table, and I assumed it was Mimi. "Mimi, ven gatita," I called, crawling on hands and knees to peek under the table's lace tablecloth. What I saw crouched there was not my cat. Two large glassy eyes blinked back at me from the shadows. In an instant, I realised the figure was roughly humanoid, child-sized but disproportionate. Its head too big for its body, its eyes reflecting the light like an animal's. It was covered in what looked like a tattered dark little coat or tunic, and it was watching me. I froze, and for a moment so did the creature. We were barely a foot apart, both on all fours on the floor. I could hear it breathing in soft rasps. It had a face like a very old man, neatly lined and weathered. The body was small and nimble. A tuft of scraggly grey hair stuck out from under a tiny hat, pointed cap made of rough reddish cloth. The brim hung so low it nearly hid the creature's eyes. But I could see them, black and gleaming, locked onto mine. I didn't feel fear, not at first. I was too young to understand. Instead, I remember giggling, thinking somehow this was an imaginary friend come to life. I whispered, "Do you want to play?" The little man under the table grinned, revealing a row of tiny sharp teeth. He put a gnarled finger to his lips, as if to say, "Shh." That's when a chill crept over me. His grin was not friendly. It was more like a hungry dog baring its teeth. I noticed his hands then. They were poking out from the frayed sleeves of his coat. The fingers were unusually long and crooked, and I saw fingernails, long and thick, almost like claws, clotted with dark dirt. In one hand he clutched something shiny. My eyes darted to it. It was one of my mother's sewing scissors. My heart suddenly pounded, some primal part of me finally sensed the danger crouching inches away. The creature tilted its head, still grinning that awful grin, and began to crawl toward me. A rancid smell, like damp soil and rotting leaves, wafted into my face. I shrieked in pure terror, shuffling backwards on my hands and kicking frantically. My foot kicked the underside of the coffee table with a loud thud, jostling the table and knocking off a vase. The vase shattered on the floor. At the crash, my mother woke and came running, calling my name. I couldn't answer. I was transfixed by the sight of the tiny man scuttling out from under the table. He moved on all fours with inhuman speed, scurrying like a spider across the tiles. In a heartbeat, he dashed behind the couch. By the time my mother burst into the living room, he was gone. Through sobs, I told her what I'd seen. She didn't doubt me for a second. She only grew pale and murmured a single word under her breath. Duende. I'd never heard that word before, but the fear in my mother's voice sealed my memory of it. We searched the entire living room, gingerly peering behind furniture. The only sign of the little intruder was the pair of tiny, muddy footprints by the table. Footprints that started under the coffee table and ended up abruptly halfway to the wall. It was as if the thing had vanished into thin air. That evening, my mother performed a ritual she'd learned as a girl. She left a small bowl of milk and a few sweets on the floor, near the spot where the footprints disappeared. A peace offering, she said, to appease the Duende and coax him not to harm us. I barely slept that night, imagining those black eyes watching me from every shadowy corner of my room. By morning, the milk and candy were gone. Whether the Duende drank and left, or whether Stray Cat found the treat, I'll never know. But we never saw the little shadow in our house again. To this day, I can't look under a table without a flutter of dread. I often wonder what would have happened if I hadn't kicked the table, if I hadn't alerted my mother. There are nights I wake from a dream where I'm back on that floor, eye to eye, with that wrinkled little face. In the dream, the Duende doesn't run. In the dream, he leaps at me with those scissors and that jagged toothed grin. I always wake up just as the darkness closes in, wondering if it was really a dream at all. Our next account comes from the dense forest of Belize, where the Duende is not a household pest, but a creature of the wild. A seasoned woodcutter named Jorge recounts in harrowing detail the night he encountered the infamous Tata Duende deep in the jungle. Jorge told this story to his family and a few close friends, one of whom shared it on a local folklore radio show. It was the spring of 1998, and I was camping alone near the Coxcomb Basin in Belize, checking on mahogany trees marked for cutting. By sunset, I'd pitched a small tent in a clearing by a ceiba tree and lit a fire. The jungle settles into an uneasy silence at night. Only the chorus of insects and distant croak of frogs kept me company as I ate my simple dinner. I was used to the solitude. I often spent days out there alone. I wasn't afraid of jaguars or snakes, but as I doused my fire and prepared to sleep, I realised the night had grown too quiet. The insects had stilled as if the entire forest was holding its breath. I tossed in my tent, unable to drift off. Just past midnight, I heard the first whistle. It came drifting through the trees, a clear two-note whistle, like someone calling a dog. I sat up, every hair on my arm standing on end. The sound was uncanny at that hour, out here, miles from any village. I grabbed my flashlight and stepped outside the tent, shining the beam all around. The whistle sounded again, from the darkness to my right, closer this time. It was not a bird's call. It had a deliberate human-like pattern. "Who's there?" I called out. Only silence answered. I thought maybe one of the other forestry workers had come looking for me, though why they'd wander at night I couldn't guess. I kept the flashlight off to conserve battery, standing in the faint glow of embers from my fire pit. After a few minutes of silence, I was about to retreat to my tent when I heard soft footsteps on dry leaves. My heart thudded. The sound was coming from just beyond the tree line, maybe 20 feet away. Crunch, crunch, then it stopped. I stared hard, but it was pure darkness under the canopy. That's when a voice, small and hoarse, spoke out from the blackness. "Buenas noches, Jorge." "Good evening, Jorge." The voice knew me by name. A chill rippled over my skin. I mustered a shout. "Who's there?" My only answer was a rasping chuckle that seemed to come from the bushes all around. I fumbled for the flashlight with sweaty hands and flicked it on, sweeping the beam in an arc. For just a second, I caught a glimpse of something crouching behind a trunk. Two glowing eyes reflected back at me, the light hitting them like an animal's in the dark. They were at the height of a small child, but too far apart, and burning red. I saw a flash of dirty red cloth. Could have been a shirt or cap. Then it was gone. The creature moved with impossible speed, circling the clearing. I could hear twigs snapping in one direction, then another, as if it was darting around me. Suddenly, the whistling started again. But this time it was right behind me, that same lilting call. So close it could have been over my shoulder. I panicked. In that moment, I recalled the old tales my abuela told about duendes in the forest. How they mimic voices and whistles to confuse you. How they know your name and bargain for your soul. How the only defence was to show no fear and to hide your thumbs. My hands were shaking uncontrollably. I dropped the flashlight and plunged the clearing into darkness. The moonlight was weak, but just enough for me to see a shape step out of the trees. Short and hunched, it walked on two legs, slowly approaching my dying campfire. I could make out a wide-brimmed hat on its head, and long arms that nearly touched the ground. Despite the dread clenching my chest, I forced myself to do what my grandmother had always said. I held out my hands in front of me, fingers open, thumbs tucked into my palms. My voice came out in a shaky whisper. Cata permissio. I was begging the forest spirit for permission to pass, to leave unharmed. The figure stopped just at the edge of the clearing. It cocked its head at me. For a long moment we stood there, my hidden thumbs against whatever that thing was in the darkness. Then I heard a low growling sound, a guttural, angry rumble, like a jaguar's purr but twisted and human. The duende, for I have no doubt that's what it was not pleased. Perhaps I had shown respect, but I had also shown I knew its weakness. The creature spoke again, its voice a creaking whisper that still haunts my nightmares. Leave. I didn't need to be told twice, keeping my hands extended and thumbs hidden. I began to back away towards the trail, never turning my back on the figure. As I retreated, my eyes adjusted enough to catch more details in the pale moonlight. The duende was about 3 feet tall, covered in wiry hair or fur, wearing what looked like a torn red shirt and an old-fashioned hat. Its face, I saw greyish skin, an enormous mouth with lips pulled back to reveal teeth that glinted sharp. But most memorably, I saw its hands as it wrung them in anger. Even in the dark, I could see the stubs where its thumbs were missing. Step by step, I backed out of the clearing. The duende stood stiff, watching. Its eyes never left me. When I was almost to the trees behind me, the creature suddenly let out a piercing whistle scream. A sound that started as that same two-note whistle and rose into a shriek. I bolted. Survival instinct took over, and I turned and ran as fast as I could into the jungle. Small branches whipped at my face, and thorns scraped my arms, but I didn't care. I could hear leaves rustling and that shrill whistle chasing me through the darkness. At one point, I felt something tug at the back of my shirt, ripping the fabric. I think I screamed. I'm not sure. I just kept running, stumbling, praying under my breath. How I found the old logging road in the dark, I can't explain. Perhaps the forest itself helped me escape. Or maybe the duende simply wanted to scare me off rather than claim me. When I finally burst out onto the dirt road, the eastern sky was turning the deep blue of pre-dawn. I had cuts on my face, and the back of my shirt was torn by what looked like 5 claw marks. I was missing one boot. I was alive and alone. The whistling had stopped. The jungle behind me was quiet and still, as if nothing had happened. I never returned to that part of the woods to collect my tent or gear. In fact, I gave up forestry work not long after. Now I stick to carpentry in town, and I never wandered the wilds without company. You can say I was just scared by a jaguar one day, or tricked by my own mind in the dark. I know what I encountered. Out there in the Belizean night, I came face to face with Tata Duende, the ancient guardian of the jungle. He let me go, perhaps because I showed him respect, or perhaps because, as some elders say, my time had not yet come. Sometimes when I'm walking home on a quiet evening, I still catch myself glancing at the trees as if I hear a whistle or a soft laugh on the breeze. I keep my thumbs tucked in my pockets just in case. I'll never forget those red eyes and that voice rasping my name. The forest spirits marked me that night. And though I escaped, a part of me is still out there in that moonlit clearing. Frozen in fear, the darkness giggles and whistles from just beyond the light.
A lot of supplement brands chase trends, but if you're serious about your health, we know research-backed science is what actually moves the needle. Momentous works with the best brains in human science to create every formula, and every batch is made of pure ingredients, tested for safety, and does not contain fillers. So you get the best long-term results possible. Creatine isn't just for muscle gains, it's essential daily fuel for your brain, body, and long-term performance. Momentous CreaPure Creatine is backed by leading performance experts like Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. Stacy Sims. Sourced exclusively in Germany, CreaPure sets the gold standard for creatine, delivering the purest form, creatine monohydrate, that's rigorously washed and never cut with fillers. With over 2,000 5-star reviews, over 112,000 customers have seen the results firsthand. With Momentous, the fundamentals are done right. Right now, Momentous is offering our listeners up to 35% off your first subscription order with promo code ACAST. Go to livemomentous.com and use promo code ACAST for up to 35% off your first subscription order. That's livemomentous.com, promo code ACAST.
You know you've reached peak couple energy when your undies match. MeUndies Match Me has you both covered, literally, in super soft ultra-modal undies, socks, PJs, and loungewear. Festive prints? Check. Cozy vibes? Double check. And right now, it's deal season. Get up to 50% off site-wide for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Take your couple game to the next level with MeUndies Match Me. To get deals up to 50% off, go to MeUndies.com/ACAST. Enter promo code ACAST. That's MeUndies.com/ACAST. Code ACAST.
Now, I can't think of anything more terrifying to be hiding under the table or out in the forest. I think for me personally, it reminds me of the creature that I saw when I'd just had Maisie, my eldest, who is now 25. Part of that postnatal depression, psychosis. I really don't know what it was, but it's very similar. Especially the one that's described under the table holding a pair of scissors. It really takes me back to that time where I had that goblin, dwarf, whatever, following me around everywhere. And I had to get rid of him with postnatal depression drugs, quite frankly. And he's only been back like once so far. Hopefully never again. I think I should do an episode on what happened to me one day. If you'd like to hear that, give me a shout and I'll put it together. Well, that's it from me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you again tomorrow. Take care, everyone.
This holiday, Verizon is helping you bundle up incredible gifts and savings. You'll get the latest phone with a new line on My Plan and a brand new smartwatch and tablet. No trade-in needed, even on our lowest price plan. That's 2 gifts for your family and 1 for you. Or 2 for you and 1 for someone else. Or 3 gifts for you and only you. Either way, you save big on 3 amazing gifts at Verizon. All on the best 5G network. Visit Verizon today. Rankings based on Root Metric Truth Score report dated 1/2025. Your results may vary. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Additional terms apply.
I am coming to tickle you with a new live tour called Nick Offerman Big Woodchuck. Please visit nickofferman.co for tickets and information and other delights.
I am a coach and an alum of Girls on the Run. Kids today carry a lot of stress, from school pressure to social isolation to overuse of devices. We create a space where girls can connect, build confidence, and learn skills like managing emotions, setting goals, and speaking up. Each child's experience is different, and families need support. I'm proud to be part of a comprehensive solution to youth mental health. Get involved today at EmpowerOurFutureCoalition.com.
The stories told on the Whispering Woods are inspired by historical records, witness reports, and local folklore. While every effort is made to research and represent events accurately, some details, names, and locations may differ from official accounts or have been changed out of respect for those involved. These episodes are created for storytelling and entertainment purposes and should not be considered definitive fact or investigative journalism.